Welcome back to the Torque Test channel. This is one of my go-to SAWZALLs, a recip saw, reciprocating saw, whatever you want to call it. People have different names for them, but what it is basically a very large inline like jigsaw in that the blade goes up and down and cuts through, well, in a recip saw's case, damn near everything. Between this and the Flex I purchased a year or two ago, drywall, 2x4 studs, angle iron, 4x4, steel pipe, and sheet metal, depending on the blade you select, it can virtually do all of those tasks that aren't like finish work. They simply get the job done in a hurry and ask little in return. These are workhorses. But how do they work? I thought I knew until opening these two up to investigate the differences between them that you can feel. I thought I knew already from opening up other tools like SDS drills and seeing diagrams of these from classic recip saws online, and I was still wrong. So maybe, possibly, you'll get to see some designs you haven't seen before, or at least see how these different brands work to perform the same function very differently in some very fun to explore high-speed footage, with even a high-speed death in the process. This is the Milwaukee 2722 Super SAWZALL, and a very run-of-the-mill whatever type blade, a Warrior from Harbor Freight, because when cutting wood, can't say any of us tend to spring for the fancy stuff that you might use when you're cutting through steel with carbide teeth, and I rarely get to see these tested with just a normal cheap blade that I'm often using. This is some 4x4 and a new one of those blades, and using it like I might normally, pushing down on it with what feels like a comfortable amount of pressure, getting a groove and then walking it back and forth a bit to speed things up. It feels like it's making steady progress and slows a bit towards the end, hitting the eye of this wood beam, and it finishes the task in 19.5 seconds. And using our 10,000 frames per second high-speed camera, that's all gonna look much more cool and impressive like this. The 2722 advertises 3,000 strokes per minute, and here, once at a full trigger press, it's getting after it at 3,130 strokes per minute. This, like some of the testing you'll see coming up later, is done with 7 pounds of weight hanging on the handguard and nothing else. To keep things that we can measure between the two tools consistent, it's all a pretty brutal looking exercise on wood when you slow it down like this. And this is the Flex FX2271-Z. It shares a lot in common with that M18 and advertises 3,000 strokes per minute and also a stroke length, how far those teeth travel each stroke, of 1¼ inches, which also happens to match that red tool's. Using the same weight, which is a chain and a large 1-inch drive socket hanging off of it, totaling right about 7 pounds, the Flex looks very similar so far in this mode with its parts still all shielded behind that tool body. We can measure at the same range of strokes per minute, even in use. Both tools saw between 3,060 and 3,140 strokes per minute when up to speed, which is pretty crazy. That's while cutting through this wood, not the normal free speed type in the air measurement that you'd expect from brands. Just pushing down how hard I might on this size of wood, the Flex is able, across 3 cuts, have a median result a little bit quicker than the M18's median result, 16.9 seconds versus 19.5. It's pretty good. But they don't call this the Super SAWZALL instead of just SAWZALL for nothing. One thing that sets modern cordless recip saws apart from many of the past and newer models for most brands in general versus those in the past is a setting switch that changes from just straight reciprocating to orbital action. It's hard to tell just in free speed use. Heck, it's hard to notice much even when you're cutting, but the difference in the action goes from nearly purely back and forth to back and forth mixed in with some up and down action. And since that's done in a stroke, that creates an orbital infinity-like sign-like motion, adding some downward bites into the material. Can't say I'd recommend it with steel. It is a bunch extra chatter on that, but in soft materials like wood, seems to work pretty well. While using this up and down and back and forth sawing motion, it's able to take its 19.5 second cut time and bring that down in a 3-cut median result to 13.6 seconds. Orbital just seems to mean business. You can now start to see the motion work. Even when pressed against the wood it's cutting and not out in the open, you can see it's no longer just plunging straight forward and then back like stabbing something, but sawing at it. And the wood dust remains spitting out here at high velocity on each stroke, with those teeth shooting it back at the tool. It's altogether just a more violent cacophony of cuts. Now the Flex, probably wanting to compare to a super sawzall rather than a standard one, made their debut recip saw also have these two modes, so you can also tell it to orbit it up. This is a much less dramatic of a difference when looking at the high speed between normal and orbital like the M18. Almost had to double check the file numbers on the footage to make sure it was the right thing, but 7 pounds of weight on the cut, orbital mode, you can sort of just make out the difference between the standard mode and this one, which to the end user is pretty sweet in person, in my opinion. You're not always going to notice the difference in speed. I haven't much between these two, but you do notice things like vibration and hopping around. Firstly, we're going to look at that speed. While the M18 dropped nearly 6 seconds on this cut using the orbital action, and that's even when these tools are using the same blade from that straight cutting that they had been using, the Flex is going to drop just 3 to 4 seconds in our testing. Median test here showing 13.4 seconds, about the same, now only a hair faster than the M18's 13.6. But that less aggressive orbital action could be a design decision or a result of a design difference. When you're looking at the Flex, just sitting here on a 4x4 looking at the orbital action, less hopping around during that action for sure, but compared to the M18, how that's resting on the 4x4, or should say not resting on it, it's sort of all over the place, which if there was one description you could give all reciprocating saws you've used, probably is that that's sort of their thing. They hop around a lot, but they do get the job done. But even in straight mode, the Milwaukee has calmed down from being such a bull ride, and yet is hard to keep planted against the surface, just in comparison to the soothing tones of the practically meditative back and forth procession the Flex has here. Now, does that matter for you? Who knows? I've used both and would use again, but it does tease that there might be some difference going on under the hood. And boy, was I right that neither of these work how I thought a recip saw does these days. Most of what goes into opening one of these up is working off that rubber guard. Once you've gotten that off, you're going to find, at least in the M18's design, a large aluminum case with two folding together halves that have a lot of screws holding them together. On the back of that aluminum housing assembly is the motor and stator, and that spins this whole assembly up front and powers it. You can pull that on through with enough oomph to work it past those strong magnets in there. And inside the M18's cast aluminum box of mysteries, you'll find a bevel ring gear and pinion type transfer and a crankshaft rod setup that turns rotational forces into back and forth strokes, much like a piston engine. This bevel gear both changes the orientation of the spinning and acts as a gear reduction to better be able to power through stuff without bogging down that motor. If you're familiar with M18 SAWZALLs or other similar designs, maybe you've seen this design before. But in the Flex, you're going to find something else entirely, despite sharing what looks like from the outside identical specs, with even people online saying Flex probably just copied Milwaukee when making their own model. This requires some removing of a sloped bracket that retains this whole handguard, stopping it from sliding off during use. Then, with that off, you'll find a center section of aluminum with two separate plastic covers over them. Not much going on in the bottom half, but the top half is full of all sorts of cool looking stuff. This pivoting arm cylinder that the saw's rod cycles through, and this rotation coming from underneath. This is not how I thought these tools worked. I've been picturing like old school Milwaukees that they got their namesake from, those SAWZALLs, the classic ones. They use a eccentric pivoting arm that when rotates moves the saw holder rod back and forth. This is an illustration of how those work and how even modern corded recip saws I've seen taken apart look like inside. This is a more crude, simple, but effective design that I was surprised not to find in either of these tools I took apart. Figured at least one of them would have this sort of design. Historically, this sort of design provides a maximum stroke length compared to the ones we have here, but I imagine is a less efficient use of the motor, of the battery, and a lot more jitters as well. This Milwaukee, and rigid models in fact, instead rotate around, working the saw blade holding rod like a piston, and here cleaned up a bit for its high-speed footage debut. Just going to do some quick surgery on the top half of this case and make it a skeletonized assembly that we can all watch as it works, as some of these parts have to remain pinned together to work correctly. Now, starting the tool up, it's just going to want to pull you into that material, which is why these tools have those guards. Cutting off the corner here on that wood to see those cool teeth working. This is the M18 in straight reciprocating mode. That crank has a counterweight like you'll find on your engine's crankshaft to try and balance out the forces happening inside this. It's pretty smooth, all said, given this task. Notice that the pin here is all the way slotted back, but turning this dial on the top, we move the orbital ramp down and make it start to interact with the rod moving forward on each stroke now. And this is what that all looks like in its orbital sort of selection. At low speed, it barely seems to even be doing much with that ramp, but once at full pop, the arm to connecting rod, the joint where it's connected together, that housing is now allowed to move with more freedom and move around with each stroke. This is where the two connect in this square housing, and the sprung orbital ramp here determines whether that connection is held in place or allowed to move out of place temporarily before being pushed back by that spring atop it. You can see the blade lurching up, then cutting backwards while slamming down a bit, really doing work here on that backstroke. The Flex takes a different approach, not one unique to them. They didn't come up with this. You'll even find this in some TTI-made Ryobi and Hart models by the looks of their parts breakdowns, but not often with a orbital function as well. And this one in particular uses springs on the top of this rod and cylinder assembly to work in much the same way the M18 one does for orbital action. This results in, I find, a vibration-defying sort of action. This flywheel runner with roller bearing on it below this whole assembly works inside of a channel to progress that rod forwards and then backwards as it rotates around. Here's the Flex in high speed. This is its straight reciprocating mode. Even in this standard mode, it does allow the tool to slope the deployment of that saw blade forward. It sort of picks it up, then settles it down into the wood and pulls it back. You can tell by how the wood chips and dust are mainly flying one direction, with the teeth cutting in that direction. When you compare to the M18, more sawdust comes out one side due to that teeth direction, but it seems to be treating each stroke the same. This could be why the Flex, from what we can tell in standard mode, cuts faster. There's a touch of orbital going on, though I don't notice it when cutting steel, so it could be minor. Flipping the mode switch on the Flex simply rotates this shaft from its flat side facing up to a round side facing up. Basically, instead of being mostly ignored, now it's a bump that the tail end of this assembly interacts with and kicks up this whole assembly, the springs on the top kicking it back down when pushed forward and free from that bump. Which all looks like this. The tail end of this is really raising up a lot more than it did before, and the saw blade end looks like it's going to be doing a lot more here, hacking at that wood rather than just filing away at it in comparison. That bearing inside the channel looks to be smoother and at the same time maybe less aggressive at shooting that blade rod forward, but does essentially do the same task as a crankshaft and connecting rod. And this is about as much footage as we got, because this is about the point where it's gonna break through this 4x4 and hit the workbench like a real smart guy piloting this thing, causing a rather spectacular fail caught in high speed. So we were able to get this shot for you today, showing even more of its insides because it's now in two pieces. The front completely fell off.
Chris, these are very, very strong vessels.
So what happened in this case?
Well, the front fell off in this case by all means, but it's very unusual.
I mean, talk about planned obsolescence, am I right? You can't even take a mostly deconstructed tool, try to use it that way and smash it into a steel table during use without yard sailing the tool anymore. Sheesh. It kind of still works, even. We did manage to get one more test completed, 3 runs for each tool of that Flex and M18 before we broke the Flex. Shot with our regular camera, and this is the 7 pounds worth of socket and chain in orbital mode. Currently, I'm personally SAWZALL-less, as the M18 has its hood permanently open now, and the Flex is, well, more parts than it started out with, which is never good. And these have definitely been the best cordless examples I've used before, so I'm inclined to maybe buy again, but let us know what you think are the best in the comments. Maybe I'll give it a try. In this noticeably lower force 7-pound weighted test, which is slower from everything we've measured compared to how much I would normally push on these, the apples to apples numbers are 22.1 seconds for the M18 and 24.5 seconds for the Flex. So when less pressure, that dancing around orbital action of the Milwaukee does do more work for you, which could mean less effort on your part needed throughout the day, or maybe you're standing on a ladder and you don't have that much leverage to push down on it. That is a win for stuff like that. Though the Flex, in my experience, and footage seems to be backing it up, feels like a lot less wear and tear on you after a good amount of using it, because this bolt action like movement, it's pretty nice. And at $199 at Lowe's, it's also often around $50 to $75 cheaper at retail than the M18 Super SAWZALL. So I also think it has a lot of positives to compare to most recip saws. So yeah, this wasn't a who makes best recip saw episode today. We think there's a lot of channels out there who do a much better job at showing you that than we can. But there's very little out there about just how the tools that maybe you use sometimes work. And frankly, we just love making these, especially when opening up tools leads to surprises. Thank you for being a part of that recipe, allowing us to prod at these tools with high-speed cameras and just see what happens. We make episodes every Friday. Click below to let the algorithm know that you're into that sort of thing, and thanks for watching.